if you send charges through a resistor, the charges lose energy. We know that this is true because where does the energy go? It heats up the resistor. Current in general has a heating effect, and it increases the internal energy of electrical devices like resistors. As those devices consume energy, there is some rate at which the energy consumption occurs. Some devices consume energy really quickly, and others not so fast. The equation for power tells us how quickly energy is used up. The delta T down here tells us that power is a rate, specifically the rate at which energy is transformed into heat or internal energy. Okay, so what kind of energy are we starting with? What are we losing? Oh yeah, because it's charges, we're losing potential energy. So that's what's changing into the heat or internal. But what other equations do we know with this? There's the potential difference equation. Let's multiply both sides by Q. And now we can substitute in QV in the numerator. Does this look familiar? Well, Q over delta T, wait, that's the current. So power dissipated by a device is equal to the current through the device times the potential difference across the device. Now we know resistance is V over I, and we can multiply both sides by I, and then taking this equation we can divide both sides by R. So there are three different ways to show the formula. Let's go to this one right here, this equation, and in place of I want to plug in, V over R. What's the new formula become? Well, you've got V over R times V, so it's this. Now let's go back, and instead of replacing I, let's substitute in for V. V is IR. So what's the new equation? Well, you've got I times IR, that's I squared R. These are the equations for power, and we'll use them to solve problems. Now, brightness is something you might see in a question. But if you have a bulb with a particular brightness, brightness just depends on the intensity of the light. And we know from last unit, light intensity depends on the power. So if a problem asks you to compare brightness for two different bulbs, it's asking you to compare the power that they consume. That's going to help us when solving problems.